why is it that a mechanical decision support system works? What are some of the things that help it work?
Well, in the first instance, which we've discussed already, is it's highly measurable, right? And for it to be highly measurable, it has to be objective.
Yeah.
Okay, it has to be unambiguous. The criteria have to be unambiguous, and in other walks of life, as unambiguous as possible, objective as possible, which means it has to be based on evidence and reasoning that comes in logic, if you like, and concepts that are logical, that have stood the test of time, and to some degree have almost come from principles of the environment in which you operate, right? In the stock market, a lot of the emphasis on numbers. That's just real hardcore numbers, and you're seeing more and more in other, like baseball, with Moneyball and things like that. Statistics have come to play a huge role in so many different walks. So the first thing has got to be highly measurable. To be measurable, it's got to be objective, which is a waning trait on this planet that we live in, and so the objectivity is key as well, not only to the measurability, but to have a snowball's chance of achieving consistency, which is the key thing we try to aim for. You can't be consistent based on subjective, ever-changing, swaying criteria. It's just impossible to achieve consistency in that, because the stepping stone to consistency is objectivity, right? And if that objectivity can be improved, then it's a step up to the next level of consistency. And the more consistent we are, with the better the edge we have, the better the outcomes we're going to have. So it's an ongoing process of being objective and measurable about what you're achieving, so that the edge can be improved as well, if there's room for improvement, and to continually be monitoring that, monitoring, and then managing and making any adjustments. So you have to be measurable, and you have to be objective, which achieves it's a stepping stone to consistency. But to be consistent, you also got to be repeatable. So you got to be able to take this edge and constantly repeat it to achieve that consistency. So those are key, and it's got to be replicable as well. It's got to be, the test of mechanical is that somebody who knows nothing about it can actually come and replicate the execution of that, without too much knowledge and training. They don't have to go through all of the experience of somebody else to be able to come and replicate that edge. So it has to be highly replicable as well. So those are some of the traits of it, and but measurable and objective and consistent are probably the key ones. Yeah.
So what are for the individual, what are some of the benefits of being consistent, of being using a system that's objective compared to somebody who's not doing that?
Okay. What consistency? So what is consistency? Well, consistency is whilst it's about a whole lot of things that you do, it's about a whole lot of things that you don't do as well, right? So you've got to overcome short-term noise, and we've spoken a bit about that. So noise is just all the outside banter and chaff and influence that is based on no edge. There's just opinions and conjecture and feelings, short-term knee-jerk reaction feelings to anything that's happening that could affect, in our instance, the market, whether it be geopolitical, geoeconomical, whatever it might be, market-related, unmarket-related, to overcome that noise and not knee-jerk react to it. And with respect to the market, the way we do that is we've got to have a firm belief in the fact that all known and unknown variables that could possibly affect price are built into price in any given moment and any given period, and that the combining of those moments and periods lead to trends. And if the ongoing conjecture and everything opinion that's getting thrown into the market, let all those put it into it. What we do is we don't listen to each individual bit of noise. We listen and read the price action, taking into consideration that fundamentals, logic, reason, illogic, irrationality, rationality, conjectures, all thrown into that in one big melting point, and that the net result of that is price action moving in a direction, and that's what we either tag onto or stay away from. And so we don't have to buy into noise. We've got a mechanical process that overcomes noise, and that makes us consistent. It's impossible to be consistent if you're continuously reacting to opinion and samples of one, two, or a few, and making decisions based on that. That's just subjectivity. So in a sense, I'm saying overcoming noise is overcoming subjectivity.
Yeah, absolutely. Just hearing you talk through that, I'm thinking, as we talked about the language of the markets, and at the end of the day, the market it's almost like an interpreter, that it's getting all the information of different languages, etc., and it's putting it all together in, one overall statement, statement of price. And that's kind of what it's doing, isn't it?
It is, and so we mentioned thinking in terms of probabilities. So it's probabilities of that price movement. Now we're not going to get 100% that it's going to, the trend is going to continue for that direction, and as long as we want it to, it's going to do what it's going to do. But it's important that the thinking of the probabilities that we come up with emanates from the environment in which we're looking to execute. So those probabilities have to come to us from the market, right? And price is the language of the market. And we've said before is that English is the language of opinion and conjecture, that are outside influences and noise outside the market. And try and read a trend on opinions. It's just, and then make decisions in the market based on the language of English that's got nothing to do with the market. Sure, that one individual variable does, but how does that one individual variable relate to all the other variables that are getting thrown into the market? And the only way we can measure that objectively is by what the price does.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. When you break it down and think about it like that, then to my way of thinking, it just makes more and more sense to be thinking, right, what is the market saying? What is the market doing? And following those sentiments, through price action, through trends, etc., rather than trying to write essays or articulate what is the market doing. It's a very in words. It's a very subjective, emotive type of process. So I think learning the language of markets is a great thing for everyone to do.